70 years ago, Ford introduced a car that did not fit into any existing category. It was not a sports car in the European sense, not a muscle car, not a luxury cruiser. It was something entirely its own, and the automotive world had no language for it yet. They called it the Thunderbird, and it sold on feeling alone. Now Ford has done it again. The 2026 Thunderbird has arrived, and it is wearing British racing green, carrying a carbon fiber body over a supercar chassis, and it sounds, even at idle, like something that was built specifically to make you forget about everything else. We need to talk about this car carefully, because it deserves more than a quick overview. This is premium automotive reviews, and if you have been here before, you know that we do not summarize cars, we inhabit them. The 2026 Thunderbird has layers to it that most coverage has barely scratched, and there is one detail about this car's interior philosophy that changes the entire conversation around how modern technology should feel inside a performance car. We will reach it. For now, start from the beginning, because the beginning of this car's story is genuinely unlike anything Ford has told before. The color is the first thing and the right thing to start with. British racing green, deep, glossy, almost jewel-like in direct sunlight, retreating to something darker and more mysterious in shade. This is not a color chosen for mass-market appeal. It is a color chosen with intention, signaling before a single specification is mentioned that the 2026 Thunderbird belongs to a lineage that stretches beyond Ford's own history into the broader world of great grand touring machines. Against this green, the chrome Thunderbird badge on the grille and the winged emblem on the tail read as heritage details rather than decorative choices. They connect this car to something older and more considered than the typical modern reveal. The body shape is where the 2026 Thunderbird's design courage becomes undeniable. Ford has taken the long hood, short deck proportions of the original 1955 Thunderbird, one of the most instinctively beautiful body shapes in American automotive history, and rebuilt them in the language of a contemporary supercar. The result is a silhouette that reads simultaneously as vintage and futuristic, a combination that sounds impossible until this car demonstrates that it is not. The nose is long and low, rising from a deep carbon fiber front splitter to a sculpted hood with a central ram air intake pressed into its center. The oval grille opening is framed in polished chrome and carries the Thunderbird bird emblem in silver at its center, a motif carried forward from the 1950s with zero modification, because some things do not need updating. The headlights are the most technically surprising element of the front end. Rather than the typical wide LED arrays of modern performance cars, the 2026 Thunderbird uses a cluster of 4 cylindrical projector units on each side, stacked vertically in a housing that references aircraft instrument clusters, creating a light pattern that is entirely distinct from any other car on the road. At night, those 4 tube clusters produce a signature that makes the Thunderbird recognizable from a distance in a way that no modern headlight design currently achieves. The side profile is where the Thunderbird's body sculpture reaches its peak expression. The front wheel arches are dramatically flared, wide, smooth, organic, pulling the body outward over polished white multi-spoke wheels that fill those arches with the dense, intricate spoke pattern of a classic wire wheel reimagined in modern alloy. Those wheels are extraordinary. In a segment where alloys have become increasingly complex and multi-armed, these full-face designs with their tight radiating spoke arrangement create a visual weight and sophistication that stops people in parking lots. The side body carries louvered vents pressed into the rear quarters, 6 horizontal slots that reference the original Thunderbird's side vents and serve a genuine cooling function for the rear powertrain components. The carbon fiber sill extensions run the full length of the car between the wheels, sitting close enough to the ground that the car appears to be crouching even at standstill. The tail of the 2026 Thunderbird is its most emotionally resonant angle. Oval LED taillights sit on each side of a wide, flat carbon fiber tail panel, their shape referencing the porthole windows of the 1957 Thunderbird hardtop in a connection so deliberate and so well executed that it rewards anyone with the historical knowledge to recognize it. The winged Thunderbird emblem sits at the center of the tail in chrome, and below it, a carbon fiber diffuser structures the rear valance in deep fins, with 4 exhaust outlets emerging in twin pairs from each corner. The carbon fiber roof panel completes a car that uses the material not as a performance addendum, but as a considered design element throughout. The interior of the 2026 Thunderbird is where Ford has made the decision that changes everything about how this car feels to use. And it is a decision that runs directly counter to where the automotive industry has been heading for a decade. There are almost no screens in this cabin. The dashboard is finished in figured walnut burl wood veneer covering the entire center stack. Real wood, hand-finished, warm to the touch and visually rich in a way that no digital surface can replicate. Within that wood panel, analog gauge faces display engine temperature, oil pressure, boost, and a green-faced analog clock at center. A clock that functions as both a practical timepiece and the philosophical centerpiece of the entire interior design. The message is unambiguous. This car exists in time, not outside it. A single infotainment display is embedded discreetly within the lower portion of the wood stack, handling navigation, connectivity, and audio, but positioned and sized to participate in the interior rather than dominate it. The gear selector is a carbon fiber knob rising from a green leather gaiter at the center console. The steering wheel carries the Thunderbird bird emblem in the carbon fiber hub. The seats are deeply quilted in two-tone cream and British racing green leather, with diamond stitching that references the original Thunderbird's interior pattern. There is a craftsmanship quality to every surface in this cabin that communicates the same message as the analog clock. This car was made by people who believe that the experience of the object matters as much as its performance. The powertrain is a supercharged V8 producing 650 horsepower sent to the rear wheels through a 7-speed manual gearbox. A manual gearbox in 2026. In a car at this price point, which is itself a statement of intent that deserves its own moment of acknowledgement. The adaptive suspension is calibrated for grand touring rather than track use, delivering a ride quality that prioritizes long-distance composure while maintaining enough body control for genuinely engaging backroad driving. 0 to 60 miles per hour arrives in 3.8 seconds. Not the fastest number in this class, and not intended to be. The Thunderbird is not competing on acceleration figures. It is competing on the total quality of the driving experience, and that is a competition it is extraordinarily well positioned to win. The 2026 Ford Thunderbird starts at $172,000. It is not for everyone, and it was not designed to be. It is for the driver who has tried fast and found it insufficient, who wants something that rewards patience and rewards attention, and rewards the willingness to slow down enough to actually feel what a car is doing beneath you. In a market full of performance machines competing to be the most extreme, the most powerful, and the most technologically overwhelming, the Thunderbird has arrived doing something far more difficult. It has chosen to be the most human. If this car speaks to you, if the walnut dashboard and the analog clock and the manual gearbox mean something to you, leave a like and tell us in the comments whether the 2026 Thunderbird is the most important American car of the decade. Subscribe to Premium Automotive Reviews for everything coming next. We are just getting started.